Hari Om Tat Sat. Mandukya Upanishad.
भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवा भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवांसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति न पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Last week, we had pleasure understanding, remembering, and diving into the word Bhadram. We will talk about the sloka 7. But before that, let us clarify and understand the two words. No matter what we say, but back in our mind, the word reality bothers us. Ever since we have been taught and we ourselves could see it, we could perceive it, then why we still cannot call it real? That clarity is so much essential. So today I would like to bring about two words. One is called Paramarthik Satya, and the other one is Vyavharik Satya. Vyavharik meaning on a day-to-day basis when we have to live the life. We use the Vyavharik Satya, Vyavhar, transaction, and Paramarthik Satya at the supreme level, at the deeper level, at the real reality level. What is the truth? For the very same reason, the entire Mandukya Upanishad had been revealed to the those great yogis, masters, meditators, rishis, and revealing that and understanding the vyavharic reality. We can say that this is our body, and the body is so real. How could we say it is not real? But the way our rishis were explaining to us and going back to our understanding, shape plus gold equals an ornament. Body plus consciousness equal to what we are. So what we are, what it appears to us, is vyavharic. And still going back to gold plus shape equal to the chain. When we go to buy, say, golden ornament, we simply don't say, give me gold. I like that chain. I need 16 inches long and 24 carat or 16 carat. But I like that particular chain. So moment when we indicate that particular chain, that is vyavharic. But when the goldsmith is selling to us, he is looking at not the shape alone, but how much gold it is in it. So he is looking at the gold, paramarthik reality, paramarthik satya. Of course, he being in the business, he also has to look at the craftsmanship. But more so, he is interested in the values of the gold. And understanding that particular example, it is so important that we study, we understand, and then keep on contemplating and applying in our life. And that ask the chain with which we are so much attached to it, so much attracted to it. But the moment when I take the gold out of it, do you still think the shape of the chain will remain? Shape of the chain is, in real sense, non-existent. As soon as the gold is taken out, then the chain no more remains. So what is that which, knowing which, we come to realization that what is permanent, what is forever. And still it is an objective example. So you may say, hey, gold is also not permanent. But that's just an example. All the ornaments are nothing but manifestation of gold. Please understand this fact. All manifestation And here, what are the manifestations? You, me, nature, cosmos, sky, earth, all this. And the shape and their functions being so powerful that we could not see consciousness. And not only anyway, we could not see the consciousness. And it is a lot easier in our own self to understand. As soon as we die, then this body will not be of any use. As soon as a person dies, person cannot, if he is a doctor, he cannot go in a hospital and work, or he can go into the clinic and work, because whatever that energized him or her to be the doctor is no more. So whatever that was, that gave the chain, the shape, the shape, the name chain, which is gold, as soon as you take the gold out of it, there is no more shape. So our seers, our rishis started knowing as to what is it. And still some of us would like to know why bother even knowing it. Let me draw our attention to it. There is not a single person who has not suffered any pain, any misery, any unhappiness, any anger, any anxiety, any jealousy, all those so-called negativity. And none of us would like to have that pain and misery. But slowly you start realizing, go little deep into it. What is pain? Who experiences it? And when I say who, this body is not simply a body, but mind-body combination, mind-body integration. Every cell has a mind of its own. Whenever hereafter, I think for the next week, let it be a homework for all of us. Any discomfort that you feel, or slightest pain you feel, start finding out what is it, or which part of us feels the pain. And is the pain continuous? Moment when you take your attention to some other attractive or a better focus, you will forget the pain. So that time, does it mean that the pain was, did you have your pain? Or your body had the pain? Did you feel the pain, or your mind felt the pain? As soon as you shift your mind to somewhere, the pain disappears. The other day, I had met a Swami, very senior, maybe in his 90s, and you could tell that he was lying his fragile body. And so I asked him, Swami Maharaj, how are you? I am so great. And I'm looking at him, and you could tell at how much painful he was. And I said, is your body feeling okay? Oh, no, but I feel horribly terrible. A second ago, he was saying, I am so fine and I'm so blessed. Because at that time, his awareness, his consciousness, here consciousness means awareness, mind you. He was aware of his real reality. Real meaning, paramarthik reality. As soon as I make him realize of his vyavaharic reality, his bodily reality, he immediately felt the pain. If we take an example that a fellow has lost so much of money somewhere, let's not talk about where, and he's so miserable, he has so high blood pressure, this and that. And moment you remind him and draw his attention to genuinely to somewhere else, some extremely joyous moment in his life, his pain disappears. His misery disappears. That doesn't mean that he is aware of the consciousness, but at least what felt the pain or the misery and what felt the joy, it was his mind. So that's a transient one. And that is transient meaning coming and going. And that is vyavaharic reality. This, each one of us have to spend enough time in silence, diving deep into oneself and finding what is it. And right now, worry nothing about moksha, reality, freedom, liberation. Those are words we'll talk about later. But at least how to get rid of this pain and realizing causal dimension and beyond. Causal, the word cause, what is the cause with which you feel the pain? Is it because you have cancer? Is it because you have a heart attack? The moment you come to know it's my body, and it's not on the superficial level, and it's not for you to tell somebody, oh, it's my body, which is hurting. You yourself, in a deeper state of awareness, find out what that is. Often we have heard the example of a movie screen on which the movie is projected. When we see the movie projected and all their players playing, which we see, nobody at that time remembers the screen. As soon as you realize that all this is vyavaharic reality, the hero, the villain, some lovers and whatnot, all beautiful sceneries, these are vyavaharic reality. But then what is real? Real is the screen that is projected upon. As soon as you come to know that there was no love, there was no hatred, there was no murder, there was no fight. This what was projected upon consciousness is that upon which something is projected. And that consciousness has no part to take place. It is that on which the shape is projected. It is that goal to which the shape has been projected, given, or upon which it was manifested. As a result, it is called change. You do not have to give up wearing gold. Every time you look at the gold bangles or anything else, you come to realize what is it. We have a reality. And any time when you derive the detachment, and detachment to the degree that, say, you bought a chain, take any number, say $50,000. You wore it and you're walking out. And a beggar on the street says, "What a lovely chain." Would you have guts to tell him, "Do you like it? Here, take it"? That's called detachment. It was also the case in the life of Swami Vivekananda. Hundreds of years ago, in 1893 or so, when he was here, all the Theosophical Society people were so crazy of him, and they loved him. So somebody presented him with a nice fountain pen those days, understand? And the fountain pen was expensive. And understand that was given as a gift to you. Under various names, we hold on to the gift, saying that, I would like to give it to you, but that's a gift to me. No, don't worry about gift. That is what you are attached to it. So when he went with that pen and he was writing something, a young boy came in and said, "Swamiji, what a lovely pen you have." And as soon as he said it, Swamiji on his own, I said, "Would you like to have it? Take it." What does it mean? He had no attachment. Likewise, I can say that, that on the day of my marriage, my mom gave me a diamond ring. I say that it is such a gift, only gift from my mother, and my mom is no more. What can I do? No, don't say what you can do. It has your mom's name is just a reason, an explanation. But the real thing is you cannot give up. So for us to realize and to understand, it is not that easy. And it's not also for everybody else, let me tell you. But here, to understand Mandukya and to understand the word Bhadram, just that simple word, upon which I'm so glad that all the 18 of you who are listening today you contemplated on the word Badram and start analyzing as to what is that is good for me, for my spiritual life, that need to fit the word Badram, and it is only that can take you closer to Paramarthic reality. Reality which is really real, which is forever. And the moment you will realize gold behind the chain, and if any shine of the golden chain slightly becomes dull, or the gold chain breaks, no pain at all. Take it. Or if somebody else wants it. A friend of mine's wife, I so much like her, because when last time I remember when she went to India, she had close to 8 or 9 ornaments, like bangles and earrings and chains and whatnot. Everything, he gave it away to her relatives, her friends, nieces and whatnot. And he came and he says, Swamiji, I feel so light. And I said, congratulations. This is the Sangam, the association, the ownership that bothers, that disturbs you. And that takes you from Badram to Abhadram, from Paramarthic reality to Vyavharik reality. And so little at a time, try to understand as to what happened. There's absolutely, when you realize that you do not care for the Vyavharik reality, I think most of you realize, most of you have come across my very dear friend, Randy. He and I, when we were visiting India and Europe in 2010, I distinctly remember that when we were at the Mumbai or the Bombay airport, and we were just entering into, and at that time, he had 300 rupees note. That time, 100 rupees was quite a money. He could have gone inside and get it exchanged into dollar. He saw a beggar boy, little boy. He gave all the 3 bills to him. And the fellow could not understand because he could barely get a rupee or 2. But instead of that, when he gets 300 rupees, his eyes widen. But to Randy, it made absolutely no difference. And not even he thought that I'm giving it away. Well, today, when we donate to someplace, understand, even after donation has the money left you, you start thinking, what happened? Oh, you remember the $100 I gave you for the blind school? Where did it go? Which blind school you give it to? What? That means the money hasn't left you. It's not that kind of detachment. Because you are still holding on to the shape. You are not realizing the reality. Paramatic reality. And because that money was still giving her the pain, that I hope Swamiji must have spent it at the right place. What do you hope for? Where did you get that to be your money? Reality. So, as a point of sadhana, dear friend, this Upanishad has only 12 slokas. But what is that for which the entire spiritual world of the world is crazy about? What is it that attracts the whole world, and it has become one of the most difficult one, and still the easiest? So our contemplation needs to begin. Anything that we do, bring in the concept of chain, gold, and shape. Anything and everything. That includes the living being too. Maybe your parents, maybe your family members, maybe your children. As soon as you feel some heavy love for them, nothing wrong with Vyavaharic reality, but be aware these are nothing but the different droplets from the same ocean of consciousness to one drop of water which came close to you. You say, my son and my daughter. And I'm not saying we will not have it. We will have some attachment, but start becoming aware of. There is nothing in this world which is wrong, and there is nothing in this world which is right. All the shapes are nothing wrong in it. Whether it can be the chain, can be bangle or the ring, or tiara, whatever you say. Nothing is wrong in it. But one has to know this shape cannot exist without gold. You cannot exist without your true self. And the true self, you will never see it. So far, we have understood either we are ignorant of something or we know it. And to that we call it a knowledge. So either we know about it or we don't know about it. But the science of spirituality has a third word to it. It's not that you don't know. It's not that you know, but you will never know. It's unknowable. And the Sanskrit word for unknowability is agaya. And here I'm referring to gold, meaning consciousness. Gold, again, as I told you earlier, it's still an object, it still has a shape, um, and it has some value to it. But the consciousness, you will never know about it. And it is everywhere. The moment I say everywhere, I'm bringing in some boundaries, some limitation. But no, that is it, which has no color, no shape, no purpose, you can say, but that exists. So people will say, in that case, when they exist, why don't you let me see it? In that case, dear friend, keep on searching. That is where it comes out to be. And if it is not, then people will say, how do I know that it is? Very reason that you exist, that is consciousness. And that in this 7th sloka, Sa Atma, that is you, the soul, Atma, reality. And still just see, like anything else, we categorize that your Atma and my Atma. See, that shows the degree of ignorance. There's nothing like your spirit and my spirit. All the parts, they are made up of earth. So you can say that that earth belongs to part number 1, and that earth is part number 2. Part example is so good. If you look from outside, you see the earth. You look from inside, you see the earth. You see from the top, you see from the bottom. You see nothing but that. If you break the part, the pieces are also the same. You cannot identify them. And so similar example can be given, that of bubbles, waves, mist. All of this, whether bubble, mist, vapor, cloud, they will not have their existence moment the water is out. That doesn't mean that we do not have to enjoy being bubble, being waves, being fumes, being cloud. You cannot say, I want to be the bubble only in Atlantic, not in Pacific. But then understand what is Pacific Ocean? What is Atlantic Ocean? What is chain? What is bangles and what is rings? But each one of them has a certain role to be played. And the moment you start playing the role, what tool that has been assigned to you. Meaning when gold has been assigned the role of a chain, you wear around the necklace. You don't wear around your hands or on your fingers. And if you try wearing it, you see the problem you will create. So it is not that the chain is good and the bangles are bad. Bangles are bangles, the work to be done. And chain has chain work to be done. If you're born to be a physician, don't think you would have been better off being an architect or an engineer. We try to measure the different successes, different roles, comparing and feeling measurable. Whatever you do, your salary may be $100 and your salary may be $1 million. $1 million is not yours, and so is $100. If you internally are happy, if you are internally satisfied, that I have $100 with which I can easily survive. With the $100, I'm not going to go and buy a Beverly Hills mansion. And those who have a couple million, they can go and buy that. But they too will have to sleep on a bed 6 feet by 3 feet. Anyhow, understanding. Now I think we understand the two words, practical reality and reality, or the supreme reality, or the truth, Satyam. Keep that in mind. It is so good. We categorize people as somebody so brilliant, God made him intelligent. God does not make anything. This God and you are not different. So Atma, all the reality which is behind awake state, dream state, and deep sleep state. It's the same reality. But functions change. And the similar situation happens with dog, cats. I would like to, depending time permitting, I would like to share with you the intelligence without intelligence that is inherent without going to any colleges, learning any laws of physics, gravity, balance, levers, and anything else. So the intelligence is so cosmically allocated to retain certain functionality. Difficult to understand perhaps, but let me tell you, and I'm going to share with you a slide. And the slide is nothing more sophisticated. There's a tiny little leaf On the leaf, there is a drop of water. And the drop of water may be as if the tip of my fingers or quarter of an inch diameter. That drop of water on the periphery, on the right side, there are 3 ends. On the left side, there are 3 ends. On the top side, there are 3 ends. At the bottom side, there are 3 ends. You wonder what is it? They make sure that from all the 4 sides, they are establishing a balance so that the tiny drop of water may not roll down and go to the ground. And all the 12 ants will remain thirsty. So how beautifully, and where did they earn that intelligence of balancing? Do you think they went to Harvard or Stanford? What is it? You study the beautiful display of Siddhanta and Shakti, Isha, and that is nothing but some display of consciousness. So lovely. Let me show you, otherwise you folks will not feel comfortable, nor I will feel comfortable. Give me a second. Understand now, this is a leaf, and see just one drop of water, and you see 3 ants here, 3 here, 3 here, and 3 here. It drew my attention. Oh my God, I fell in love with. I thought, what an intelligence. And this, a tiny animal has it. And I was thinking, what perhaps human could have done. Is there this beautiful, cohesive, loving, caring understanding? Where does that intelligence come from? Which engineering school they went to? Anyhow, so now, coming back to our point, It is not the 12th sloka we can finish in literally no time, but what good will it do to us? Do we feel comfortable contemplating and to reduce the attachment and start looking at the gold rather than the shape? What I meant, first of all, reducing the attachment. We have been told at different times, different ways, that pause for 5 minutes, pause for 2 minutes. If I like, say, hot chocolate or a coffee, and after finishing one cup, I am so driven, oh, the coffee is so good, let me have one more. That means what? You are attracted to the shape of it. Tell yourself that I can have a second cup, but I'm not going to have it right now. You remember that example? We all have been practicing, but once in a while we forget. So anything and everything that you think is mine, and I do not want to spare, pause, and then begin. In quite many of our Yog Nidra too, we had pause and go. It was not just for relaxation, dear friend. Yog Nidra is leading us to be a yogi in real sense. Understanding that part is so important. And this is not somebody else has to see it, only you. And even if you drink 10 cups of coffee, doesn't matter. But if there happen to be, say, 9 people in front of you, would you be, without slightest hesitation, be sparing all the 9 cups? And not even 9 cups, if you can still go further. And there comes a 10th fellow uninvited. And you were just about to sip your coffee. And at that time, would you say, oh, here, Chandrasekhar, I'm so glad you came, please. Chandrasekhar doesn't know that you had not drunk the coffee. So is it that easily detachable? Do you genuinely feel love at your heart? I'm so happy Chandrasekhar enjoyed it. So whether you drink or he drinks, is it the same? As the other girl I was talking about, he gave away pretty much all of her ornaments. No cost though, understand, just habit. And as easily Randy could spare 300 rupees to one beggar. Randy did not ask for the receipt of it for tax deductibility. And any time when something really bothers you, that I am donating $300 or $3,000, but I may not have the tax deductible donation. Why care? And see if you are in a tax bracket of 33%, and out of $3,000, you will get $1,000 tax deductible. So you will think that you donated $2,000. Why don't you donate only $2,000 and forget about tax deductibility. In other words, these are the numbers, but the point is, are you really understanding that you are holding on to the shape of the chain, the shape of the bangles, and you think you memorize all the 12 slokas of Mandukya Upanishad? It is so wonderful, dear friend. You will not become a devotee visiting a temple. You will not become a devotee honored by the entire society that you created this temple. You donated a couple $1 million. But there are devotees not even spending a dime, but they simply believe in service, recognizing whether this is chain or bangle, but what one sees behind all the shape is the goal, it's the reality. And you enjoy that, enjoy serving the reality. And as soon as you start enjoying, the second name of that enjoyment is love. And that love is without the lover. And that all of us have it. Dear friends, let us observe a minute of silence. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Ayo, that's it. So thankful to all of you.